Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Bane bringing you gaming goodness, and we're back with Machine Gods of the Noxian Expanse. This is the third video in the series. The first video we had an overview, the second video we had our character creation. As you can see here, I've transferred all the information onto the character sheet. I've also added the relevant icons for the two locations that were left blank in the last video, but I think I did include an image of the updated grid, the map grid. Now, before we actually start the campaign and start playing, I did another little bit of pre-campaign work off camera. So this is all the things we did last time with the gear and the starting settlement. But what I've done is I've actually created the noble house that's in charge of this area, because I'm thinking that there's a pretty good chance that this noble house will in some way become important to the story. Can't promise that, don't know that, but I've got a feeling. So what I've done is I have used the Noble House Creator tool from Shield Die Studios. And this is a very simple, very small document which allows you to actually generate random noble houses. Now, I've got to be honest, there's a lot of things here, a lot of prompts here that you can roll up. Didn't use all of them, but it's there if you need it. But I did create the family crest with the emblem. I also did things such as their main trade, their secret. What else did I think that was probably all I randomly rolled up, I think. But there's a lot more things that you can roll up, but I just came up with this. The name of the house and also the name of I made it a matriarch, a person in charge of this noble house. And they look after this part of the Iron Valley on behalf of the machine god, the sort of AI who's in charge of the Iron Valley. Because that's where we're from and that's where we're going to be playing. House Xas. So yeah, I created a matriarch who's in charge, plus the overlord for the settlement that I'm in. I've named him as Kalin Xas. Where did these names come from? Kalin Xas and Moria Xas? Well, it came from this very handy book that I've used a number of times. Rolling up random names and NPCs. But yeah, we've got the House Xas, which is the noble house that's in charge of this particular area of the Iron Valley. It's led by matriarch Moria Xas. Now, the motivation, descriptor, and nature was actually rolled using the NOXIAN Expanse book. So I used the motivation and the descriptor and the nature from the Machine Gods book for these two, the matriarch and the overlord. So Moria, the matriarch, her motivation is to fulfill plans for the noble house. Descriptor is crazy, so maybe she's a little bit difficult to deal with. Nature of cautious. And then I've got a basic description here. Now this was generated using this Random Encounters book. So I rolled up that Moria is a young adult, so maybe this noble house is very much sort of hereditary in terms of power and prestige and sort of position. Young adult, flowing blonde hair, medium height and build, but has crippling arthritis. So I'm envisioning this person as maybe it's got to an extent where maybe they have a wheelchair, and maybe this has also been a reason why she's sort of become crazy and very cautious in nature. For the Overlord, for Mossmore, which is the settlement we're going to be standing in. Now, it did say down here the potential conflict was an oppressive government. So I'm thinking that Kalin Xas, the Overlord, is not a nice person. Somebody who's potentially criminal. But yeah, I rolled up there, again, motivation, descriptor, and nature using the rulebook. Prejudiced, calm, and learned. So obviously this guy's intelligent. He has a prejudice against something, possibly, maybe non-nobles. but he's got a calm demeanor. That could maybe hide maybe volatile anger issues, maybe. Again, a description, again, was from the Random Encounter book. A slack face on one side impeding their speech. Well, I mean, it's a nice little description. Extremely old, short red hair, medium height and weight, and won't listen to the opinions of others. Now, again, this could link up with the fact that they're an oppressive government. Now, I'm thinking that oppressive government is focused maybe on just this one settlement because of the Overlord. It may not be how the noble house is overall. What else? I also rolled up a couple of things, again, in the noble house creator. So I did roll up what is their main trade. I mean, in Mossmore, the main industry of this settlement is scavenging. So, I mean, that could be a side business. I think it's something that every kind of settlement's going to have at least a hand in. But in terms of the noble house as a whole, I rolled up, and I rolled a 19. So alchemy is actually their major business. Not sure how I'm going to work that into the story, but we'll have to see. Also, I thought it would be interesting to have a family secret. So this noble house that's in charge of this quite large area of the Iron Valley has a family secret, and I rolled up on this table here that their funds are running dry. So they're actually running out of money. Now, again, this could be linked to why the Overlord Kalin is becoming a bit more oppressive in nature, in terms of they're having to generate more profits, more revenue, and maybe that's having an effect in terms of how he runs the settlement. But yeah, so I rolled up this sort of random noble house for this area, House Xas, because I'm thinking that they're going to be, I think they're going to be part of the story in some way. So it's just a couple of little things that I've been doing since I finished the character creation. And we are now ready. We're ready for the campaign. So we're starting in Mossmore. Now, I will be trying to keep these gameplay videos to a more manageable length, maybe 45 minutes maximum, but I'm going to try and aim for maybe half an hour for each one. So because of the nature of these games, because it's random encounters, random events, random explorations, we may not see combat every sort of session, but hopefully it will still be interesting for you guys. Right, now, this is something that I don't think I explained in the overview that maybe I should have done. The way that the game is played without a games master is that you follow a sequence of scenes. Every scene is where something interesting or something important happens. So what you'll do is that for every scene or for every step of your journey or your adventure, you're going to be selecting a setting where the action takes place, and then you're also going to find out if there's a twist. So once you establish the scene in terms of the setting, the characters, what's going on, maybe what you're supposed to do in this sort of scene, you roll a d6. On a 1, it means that there is a surprise event. You will then roll on the surprise event table to see what happens to modify or change, improve, or make more dangerous what you're planning to happen. So you've got 8 descriptors that you'll be rolling, and then you've got 4 different columns to find out specifically what's going to happen. You can combine these together along with an action prompt, a theme prompt, and possibly a role to interpret what's going on. And together, whether you have a surprise event or not, you will then try to use the gameplay rules and mechanics to kind of resolve what you're supposed to be doing, to close the scene. Now, we're going to be starting with the scene in Mossmore, in the town itself, to establish why my character is where they are, and what they have to do. Because I think in the first scene, I'm going to generate my first task, which is going to send me out into the wasteland. But yeah, so every scene will follow that kind of sequence here. Establish a scene in terms of setting, characters, the actions that are required, the objectives, obstacles, and things like that. Roll for a twist to see whether something like a surprise has happened to sort of modify what you think is going to happen. You then answer any questions, use the rules and mechanics, and then update story arcs or update characters or whatever, yeah? Now, at the end of a scene, you have to make a decision or make a honest reflection of how the scene went. Did it go your way? Or, I mean, in terms of being a positive result, in terms of being successful, or was it more negative in nature in terms of you not achieving what you wanted to achieve, or maybe you rolled really badly, for example. If the scene overall was positive, fine, update your story arc, update your character, equipment, money, etc. Carry on to the next scene, in the next part of your story. If it was more negative in nature, if you think that you weren't in control of what was happening in the scene, then what happens is that the twist value goes up by 1. So what this means is that for the next scene, when you roll for a twist, you'll be rolling 1 or 2 is a twist. Okay. Now this will reset the next time you have a more positive scene. Yeah. The next time that you have an encounter or some kind of interaction, a scene where you are in control, positive result, what that will do is it will basically reset the twist to just a 1 in 6 value instead of a 2 in 6. Maximum is 3 in 6, yeah? So this is a way to try and, I suppose it's a way to try and show that negative things tend to come in threes. They tend to kind of have a domino effect when things go wrong, you know? But yeah, I like the way that this is created. It's not necessarily a point-to-point system where you're just interacting with the adventure from one scene to another. You can do various things in between the scenes, but the scenes are where the major elements of your story is going to happen. Right, I've been talking way too much. I have to edit this down, but we are going to start with our game. So we're in Mossmore. We've got our character here. For the campaign, right, for this you've got a campaign sheet. This is actually, you've got a spell sheet, so I've got my shock relic there. I actually want to find some more resonance cores, some more batteries. So you've also got a campaign sheet that you can print out, which has space for 6 scenes. You've also got a space to make notes about any characters that you meet or interact with, also to keep track of any potential story arcs. You don't have to have one, you can have many. We do have that motivation, the search for missing children who were chosen. That is one story arc that we are going to be involved with, but you could have more. So scene number 1. So this is going to be the first scene. What I think I'm going to do is I'm in Mossmore, and I'm going to have a meeting with the Overlord to obtain a task. I'm a representative of the Monastery. Success could lead to official reclaimer status. Not sure why I did that. And a bond from the House Xas. So what I'm doing is, for this first scene, I'm trying to establish the reason why my character as a scribe would become a reclaimer. Obviously, the others at the monastery know that there's something about me that could lead me in that direction to become a reclaimer. My ability to interact with relics and, I mean, it's technology, but people here think of it as magic, yeah? So what they've done is that the Overlord has a certain task where they need somebody with a certain amount of affinity with these magical things, with this technology. The monastery has basically pushed me as their representative for this task, for the Overlord. And this first scene is going to be the interaction between my character and the Overlord to both receive the task and also be told that success could be me becoming a reclaimer. Now, I have printed and painted up a figure to represent my character. What's his name? Yagmur Keystina. So this is a model I've painted up. You may not be able to see it very well on the camera. I'll put some pictures up. Maybe I'll move my fans over here. I'll move my stuff over here so I can put the picture up here. But this is a figure by Station Forge. It is from a set called the Scavenger Monks. Very much Adeptus Mechanicus. You got the two robot arms from the back. You've got plenty of books, a couple of books. No visible weapons, so to speak. There is a blade on one of these arms, which I'm going to take as representing the saber. So yeah, so excuse me. So yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy with how this turned out. It's a bit of a rush job because I wanted to get this painted up for the game. Like I say, I've printed this, painted this after I completed the character creation recording. So quite fast for me. But yeah, this is my character, Yagmur Keystina, and you will see more of that figure if we have any combat. Right, let us begin the first scene. We are in the Overlord's office. Overlord, oh, I forgot his name already. Kalin, is it? Overlord Kalin Xas and his Chamberlain are behind his desk. He's sitting behind his desk. The Chamberlain is by his side. He's sort of second in command. The office is very wooden. Plenty of bookshelves with various tomes and books. You can also see various, well, they look like relics spread around the room, both on the sort of bookcase shelves, on the table as well. I mean, whether they're functioning or not, you don't know, but they're definitely, they look similar to relics that you've seen. In other words, they're sort of mechanical artifacts. Not artifacts, mechanical objects. And the door is opened for you and you walk in, and the Chamberlain motions for you to sit down at the only other chair there, facing the Overlord. So Yagmur walks in, a little bit hesitant, a little bit nervous. He's not exactly sure why he's been chosen for this task. He was just told that maybe it was something that he's suited for. Not exactly sure what that means, but he comes in, sits down, and again, based on the figure that I've chosen, he has red robes with a white trim. He's got like a rebreather over his mouth. I mean, he is mute, so he can't talk, so that's not a problem. His mechanical arms kind of just go to a relaxing position, and the Overlord begins to talk. Now, at this point, I'm actually going to roll the twist, because the twist may bring something surprising to the task that we're going to roll up in a second. So for the twist, we're going to be rolling a d6. There is no modifier at the moment because we're just starting. So I'm going to roll a d6. Now, I do have a dice tray, but I think I don't need it for this. Right. So on a 1, there's going to be a surprise. Okay, so there's no surprise. Good. So there's no twist for this particular scene. So the Overlord, this very old man. So, you are the one the monastery has sent. Okay, we have a task for you. Something that we need help with. I have been told that your skills are of a certain nature and that you may have an affinity for certain items which are of value to us of the House Xas. So, this is the task I need of you. And at this point, the Chamberlain lifts a folder from the desk, opens the folder, obviously with information about the task, and then puts it in front of Yagmur. We're now going to roll up the task to see exactly what we need to do. Now, to generate tasks or missions, there is a section in the rulebook under the settlements area. You roll on this table. Is that in camera? Yes, it's in camera. To determine the task type, you will then roll on 2 further tables to generate what is asked of you and what is the target. For the moment, I'm going to be using this. It's a decent enough task generator. But I'm thinking that maybe later on down the line, I would actually like to maybe use one of these side quest decks to generate some missions, just to add a little bit of a variety. So we are going to be rolling a d6 to find out what is our task. I'm going to get my notebook. Here we go. Scene number 1, Mossmore Overlord's office roll task. Righty-ho. So we're going to be rolling a d6. So is it an item, a place, or a person? It's a 6, so it's a person. Okay, so now we'll be rolling on these columns here to determine what is asked and then what is the target. So a person, it could be to liberate, assassinate, protect, incriminate, capture, and fight. Oh my god. Well, assassinate I'm not going to be very good at because I haven't really designed my character to be a warrior. And then, oh dear. Oh, it's not going to be very good. Okay, right, d6 and d6. So, what is asked of you? So, what do we got to do for this person? We're rolling a d6. We get, oh my god, another 6. Woohoo! I've got to find a person. Who have we got to find? A 5. Okay, it's not a 6. It's a 5. A thief. Oh no, I've got to find a thief. But it doesn't tell me exactly why. Why do I need to find the thief? Okay, what I can do is maybe use the... Where are the tables? Where are the tables at? I mean, we could roll up some information about the thief, but we could also roll up action and theme to help me maybe get some ideas in terms of why I've got to find this person, because it's all well and good finding the person, but what do I need to do? Do I need to give them something? Do I need to bring them to the office, to the Overlord? Let's just quickly write this down first. Right, so I've got here, the task is to find a thief. But again, I don't exactly know why. I mean, there's a thief here. I mean, should I just take the NPC thief that's here, or should I roll up another one? I think I'm going to roll... I've got to find a thief. Maybe they've stolen something and I've got to get it back. But wouldn't that be an item? That would be an item quest, wouldn't it? So, what is this person? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll on the tables back here. Action and theme tables. Second key component when playing without a GM. We use these tables combined to inspire discoveries, events, character details, and motivations, and much more. So you've got 2 tables here, action and theme. I think I'm going to roll once on each to give me a couple of word prompts that I can then use to maybe better understand what the Overlord's going to ask me to do. Yeah, that seems to work. So we're rolling percentage. So for the action, we get a 20. Propose, that could work. And the theme, we get a 13. Power. So maybe, yeah, just give me a notebook because I've written this down. Let's move the book slightly out of the way. So I'm thinking that maybe the Overlord wants me to find a particular thief. What I'll do is I'll quickly roll up an NPC. Propose power. So maybe the Overlord wants to offer this thief like a job, maybe to be an informant, or maybe a gatherer of items for the Overlord, so he'd be working under the Overlord. I mean, this settlement's not very large, is it? It is a small town, only 200 people. So I think it's very highly unlikely that there's like a thieves guild here. I mean, I could ask the Oracle, I suppose, whether there's a thieves guild here. Like I said, I'm pretty certain that there isn't. Hang on, let me move all these out of the way. So I'm thinking it's 200 people, thieves guild, very unlikely or almost impossible. I think it's more likely to be almost impossible that there's a thieves guild here. But this is a fantasy world, so, and I'm on the sort of outskirts town, so let's make it very unlikely that there is a thieves guild here. So that means, do I want to add a complication or not? Don't think so. So I'm just going to roll basic Oracle. So a 14 or higher means that there is a thieves guild here. I rolled an 11, so there's no thieves guild here. So I may not need to worry about potential conflict or problems from the Thieves Guild if I get this person to come, or the Overlord, I'm speaking in terms of the Overlord, if this guy works for the Overlord. So, okay, I think we've got something. I think we've got a task that makes sense. Give me 1 second. Right, so let's continue. I've actually written down like the Overlord making me the offer. I'm just going to read this out. Let's have a look. Okay. So the file is passed to my character, and being a scribe, I can read, not a problem there. And as I'm reading through the details of this task, the Overlord tells me what he wants. I need you to find a resident of the town, a particular person with particular talents. I would like him to work for me, to work for House Xas. Find him and make the offer. His rejection is not an option. His name is... And now, now we're going to roll up another NPC. So I'm thinking that this... Okay, so maybe this video is just going to be the first scene, getting the task with all the details, and then we'll continue with the next scene, maybe where we go looking for this person in the next video. So what I'm going to do is I am going to grab... Actually, no, I think I'll put it down the bottom here. I'll put down the bottom all the details about the NPC. Now let me sort myself out. Back in a sec. Right, the thief that I need to find, I mean, it's going to be a high chance that he's going to be in the settlement, but he could actually be out scavenging. We'll just come to that in a minute. Right, 1 to 3 male. No, female. Okay, so it's not a him, it's a her. Let's do the name first, because then I can get this book out of the way. Random tavern. No. Right, so we're going to be using this to generate the name, because it's a nice little tool for NPC name generators and stuff. Right, so D100. Bom, bom. So first name is 81. Is that too shiny for the camera? Should be alright. 81. Umut, Erg, Umber, Val. I think Val's the best one that's closest. So I've changed it. Her name is Val, maybe short for Valerie. Second name is 87. 87. Important. No, that's a bit weird. Jarvalsa. That's pretty good. Jarvalsa. That'll work. What else can we roll up? We can also roll up we can do age, I think. Age. I don't think they're going to be old, so I'm just going to take... I'm going to re-roll 5s and 6s, I think. I don't think elderly or old will be work for this instance. So 4, an adult. Intelligence, no need to worry about too much about that. Hair and build, yeah, we can do that. So hair and build, okay, so hair, D12. Might help me to identify them as I'm trying to look for them, maybe. An 8, flowing dark or black hair. Let's make it black. Build is a D10. 7. Short and thin. I think for the noble, the House Xas, the matriarch and the Overlord, I think I also rolled up brief description, and I think I did secret and obstacle as well. And then we rolled up a couple of things in the main rulebook. So we'll do that with Val Javalsa as well, just in case. Javalsa, I think, wasn't it? Javalsa, right. So let's roll up a brief description. So again, we need percentage. We get a 19. 19. Slack jaw tendency to mouth breeze. Nah, that's very similar to what we had for the Overlord. Gap toothed grin and grin. Strong. I think this one's better. I'll do ±1 when I roll these things. A strong jaw and a hearty laugh. I think that'll work. And secret or obstacle. If it doesn't work, I may not use it, but we never know. It might be something that might make the story more interesting. 57. 57. And he's working against the party's interests. Don't really have, the thing is, we don't really have any interests at the moment, so that may not work. Lacks common sense. Afraid of spellcasters. Ooh, afraid of reclaimers. So maybe this person is actually afraid of people who can manipulate the technology, because that is a drawback to being a reclaimer, is that some people look sort of negative at you and what you can do. So that could actually work. So I'll use that. That could work quite nicely. Right, let's just add a couple of other things from the Machine Gods book. And again, it could help with the storytelling in terms of when I meet them, how I work with them, how I deal with them. We can do things like emotional state as I meet them probably, but I think motivation and descriptor could possibly work, nature could possibly work. What is the NPC doing? Again, we can roll for that when we actually find them, possibly, right? So percentage for motivation, we get a 77. Entertainment. Entertainment. So maybe I'll be able to find them where there's some kind of show or some kind of dance, possibly. Might be able to find them with something entertaining. Okay. And a descriptor. Well, I mean, we've already done a bit of descriptive work regarding this, but we'll roll here and see if we can add it in. Doesn't hurt to have too much, does it? 53. Educated. Okay. Okay, I mean, that could make it easier for me to communicate, because I mean, it's not a given. I don't think that everyone in this world, in this setting, can actually read. So if they're educated, there's more chance of them being able to read, so I can actually write down and communicate with them that way. Okay, good. And lastly, nature, D10, a 2. Shady. Well, yeah, of course, she's a thief. So I think we've got a decent description. I can develop the next scene, I think. Other things, maybe I can roll up to see what they're doing when we actually start the scene next time. But what do we have? We have Val Jarvalsa, adult female, long flowing black hair, short and thin, strong jaw, hearty laugh, afraid of spellcasters or reclaimers. Motivation is entertainment, descriptor is educated, nature is shady. Okay, I've got a good idea of who this person is now. Again, I'm going to use the Oracle, because, I mean, I think there is a good chance that this person will be in the settlement. But I think I still need to roll, because I think there may be a chance that they will be out, maybe in the ruins, or I think less likely that they'll be at the pyramid, but they might be at the ruins doing a little bit of exploring and maybe finding some scavenging relics and stuff. I mean, I don't think this person's a reclaimer, but I don't think scavenging is limited to reclaimers. Doesn't make sense. So what am I going to do? Okay, for the Oracle, I think that it's going to be very likely that this person is within this settlement. But then why would they need a member of the monastery to find? Maybe it's because they're not in the settlement that they need maybe somebody with my skills, my talents, you know, working with relics and whatever. Maybe she has gone out scavenging, and maybe nobody's heard or seen of her for a long time. That's why they need not necessarily an expert, but somebody with certain skills, like a reclaimer or a potential reclaimer. Because I'm thinking of this scene as being a way for me to actually, where did I put it? To actually become a proper reclaimer rather than just a scribe. So the monks in the monastery, my sort of supervisors and everybody else, have suspicions in terms of what I can do. And when this task came along and they wanted somebody from the monastery, maybe who, again, could have certain talents, they put me forward. So I'm seeing this, maybe the first few scenes and the first task, as being a way for me to actually becoming a proper reclaimer. That kind of makes sense. So I'm thinking that maybe they're not in the settlement, and that's why they need me. So I don't think I'm going to be rolling for that. But what I do want to roll for is where they've gone. Where has Val Jarvalsa gone? Now I'm thinking that there are two possible options from what we've generated so far. we have the ruins to the west in the plains. Again, I'm thinking that could be like a ruined office building. And we've got the fearsome pyramid to the north in the forest area. I'm going to say it's an equal chance that this person, this thief, has gone to one of these places and they need our help. Somebody more specialized, maybe more suited from the monastery to go and find them. Maybe they've sent sort of guardsmen or more militia style people to find them and they haven't come back, which would lead me to think the pyramid maybe, but let's roll. Let's find out. So 1 to 3 is the ruins, 4 to 6 is the pyramid. Doink. We got a 3. We're going to the ruins to the west. So we are going to have to travel to the ruins, and that will be in the next video. So let me just update my little book. So yeah, here we go. Last scene, heading to the ruins. So I have to find this person, this thief, and I've basically got to find them and convince them to work for the Overlord, become a employee of the Overlord and of the House Xas. Okay, so that is the end of the first scene. I have developed and created, I've created and developed a task. We're going to have to go to the ruins. I don't think that this is going to have anything to do with my current motivation, this other current story arc. But you never know, it might end up that way. Now, when you complete a scene, you have to ask yourself whether it was a positive encounter or a positive result, or whether things went badly for you. I think it went okay. Nothing went wrong. I mean, we didn't necessarily have to do very much apart from generate a task. But I'm thinking that there was nothing negative about this scene, so I'm not going to give myself a twist modifier. So for the next scene, when we roll the twist to see whether there's any surprises, it's just going to be a 1 in 6 again. And that's going to be scene 2 when we go to the ruins, and that is going to be in the next video because I do want to keep these shorter. So guys, thank you very, very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, add some comments, spread the word, ring the bell, and join me in the next video where Yagmur, the scribe, ventures to the ruins. Thank you very much, guys. See you next time. Take care. Stay safe. Cheers.